Okay, we should be live now. We should be going live. And we are. Okay, so, hope my audio is okay. So, today's video is all about my top 10 action films. So, what I did is I tried to make this list as, how do I describe it? I've tried to go more pure action rather than just taking like MCU films because they have action in them. Otherwise, then, it just gets diluted and you have like comic book movies, everything. So I tried to get away from that and try and get pure action films that I thoroughly enjoy and what I think are the best, top 10 best action films in my opinion. So trying to go by the pure aspect. There is some that I consider more action than the genre that some people would put them in. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to give you my top 10. I'd love to hear everyone else's. Make sure you let it in the, make sure you leave it in the live chat for me so I can read them out and see what they are. And I would love to hear everyone's top 10 action films because this is going to be a very different list to what most people might have because there is some movies that I'm not the biggest fan of that some people absolutely love that's going to be in their top 10. So I'm very intrigued and interested to see what everyone else's is. So make sure you leave it in the comments or in the live chat. And thank you again for supporting and being here and being a part of this film community. So let's dive right into it. And I'm going to start off with number 10, which is directed by John Woo, starring John Travolta and Christian Slater, which is Broken Arrow. Wow, this movie, to me, I remember my father showed me this movie as well. And I tell you what, John Travolta is so good as the villain. Like, he was born to play. He just brings a presence when he's a villain. And in this film, he is so ferocious, so driven, and he's got every motivation that I love to see in a villain. And that's what he's got. And he just, the way he portrays this villain. So basically the whole premise is they're fighter pilots and one betrays the other and betrays and starts stealing nuclear weapons. That's what he does. He steals nuclear weapons to try and basically get what he wants. That's what it is. And John Travolta turns and he's fantastic as the villain. He's so unpredictable and he's such a good actor, especially in roles like this. This is where I think he is absolutely at his peak and so good. Christian Slater is brilliant as the hero as well, trying to get his friend to come back over, but when he can't, then having to fight and try and save the whole world basically from this threat. And the government don't want him to, and that they're trying to tell him not to, but he's the only one there that can stop John Travolta. It is a fun adventure journey. And the action is brilliant. You got fighter jets in there action. You've got car action. You got hand-to-hand combat, guns, everything. Everything is in this movie action-wise. And I remember seeing it for the first time, and I loved it ever since. Ever since. So check out Broken Arrow, directed by John Woo, starring John Travolta and Christian Slater. So that's number 10. Now we move into number 9. Which is directed by Simon West, and it stars Jason Statham. And you can't have a top 10 action film list without Jason Statham being in there at least once. And for me, it's The Mechanic. I absolutely love The Mechanic. I love the whole concept. The whole concept of he is an assassin, and he's just some of the way he kills people and the way he does it is so fantastic. Like, so creative. And who doesn't love a bit of Jason Statham? I do. I absolutely love Jason Statham. When he's beating people down, it is so fun to watch. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. I absolutely love his films, even though some of them aren't that good. But The Mechanic, I love him in it. I think he's perfect for these type of roles. I think he is a modern-day action star. Only few of them are left. And I think he is at the peak of that at this point in time. I mean, we saw him in Hobbs and Shaw. He's like that. But so basically the whole concept of this film is so he has to kill this guy because it's part of his contract, but he's good friends with him. He does it, and then I think his son or nephew or something wants to get in the business, and then eventually turns on Jason Statham. So he shows him the ropes of how to become an assassin, and then he tries to kill him, and vice versa. And there's some great kills. Great, like I think the pool one's in. Is it in this one or the second one? One of the two. But there's one like that where he's underneath and the glass falls. He falls to his death. There's just so many creative ways, and the hand-to-hand combat is unreal. And I mean, I had to put the mechanic in at number 9. So we move to number 8 now, which was directed by Pierre Morel or something. I think that's his name. Forgive me, I probably butchered that. But he's the director, and it's starring Liam Neeson. And again, Liam Neeson in action films, good. And you probably already know what it is. It's Taken. I love the first Taken so much. Liam Neeson in this is just, I mean, I would not fuck with him, period. I would not fuck with Liam Neeson in this movie. That line he gives when he is on the phone and he says, basically to this guy, I have a set of skills. I will find you. I will kill you. I mean, that today is like in the fandom, that is memed everything. It is so like just one of those lines that no one will ever forget. And you've got hand-to-hand combat. You've got unreal kills. And you've got some fantastic gunfights. Like the way he runs through people. He just runs through them. Absolutely runs through them. And it is amazing to watch. I mean, it's so good. What they do so well, what Pierre does so well in this film is he gives you the villains, and they do unspeakable things. They're trafficking women. They're putting them into sex slavery and selling them off. What does that tell us as an audience? Okay, you know what we need to do? Whatever Liam Neeson does, justifiable. I don't care. Liam Neeson can do whatever he wants to these people, and we wouldn't even care. So he goes in and he just wrecks shop, and we love it. We love it. Everyone in the audience loves it. I love it. It's so good. It's so fun. And Taken comes at number 8. So, and we got just one here. How's it going, Ronan? Nice to see you watching the video. Hopefully you're enjoying it. So let's move to number 7 now. The Equalizer, which is directed by Anton Fuqua, I think his name is. So this is starring Denzel Washington. And I'll tell you what, this is another like sort of Taken John Wick sort of movie. He's got a set of skills. And what makes this so good, in my opinion, is how he does the watch thing. He times it. Okay, I'm going to just time it. And he's like, boom, boom. It looks at it, yeah, could have done better. Pretty good. And he wrecks shop again. Like, these action films are people just wrecking shop. And that's what I want in an action film, is people just wrecking them. Denzel does it. Again, we meet the female character, which is Chloe Moretz or something. I think she's the girl in it. And we see that she's treated poorly by, I think they're Russian mobsters or something. She's treated very poorly. So he makes it his duty to go in, wreck shop, save her from a sticky situation. And it's awesome. It's awesome to watch. So coming in at number 7 is The Equalizer, starring Denzel Washington. Check it out if you guys haven't. It is a fun action film, and it is just pure gunfight, hand-to-hand combat, creative kills, and just Denzel Washington just ripping shit up. And I love it. I mean, I love that stuff. So now we move into number 6, which is another Statham film, which I think is probably my favorite Statham film. And that is The Transporter, the first one. And I tell you what, when I first saw this one, you're watching it at the start and you're like, oh, so he's just a taxi driver? Like, is that his thing? And then you start to see what actually happens. And I kid you not, when I saw the hand-to-hand combat on the bus, I was blown away. Blown away. This was just mind-blowing to me. I was like, oh my God. This is some great martial arts stuff. This is unreal. Look what he's doing. And it's Statham. And I love Statham. And I love when he wrecks people. And he wrecks people in The Transporter. Guns, hand to hand. It is just so cool. And I tell you what, when he flips the number plates and then he replaces them, stuff like that, I mean, who doesn't want that? I want one of those. Like, don't we all want that? I mean, you just think about these types of movies, these action films, and this is what we love about action films, is just pure action, and that's what the Transporter gives. The story is probably not the strongest story, but I don't care. I just love it. I love the action in it. And so coming in at number 6 is the Transporter. Now coming in at number 5, as we get in the top 5, is directed by Matthew Vaughn, starring Colin Firth and Taron Egerton. So this is the first time I saw Taron in a movie, and I tell you what, he won me over. And it's The Kingsman: The Secret Service, which is the first one. I remember seeing this coming out in the theaters, and I was kind of like, oh, so this is going to be like a James Bond-esque movie, and it's not going to be as good. So I gave it a miss, and then when it came out, I watched it, and I tell you what, I wish I saw it in the theaters because I adore this film. Absolutely adore this film. I think Colin Firth as Harry is just so good. He is actually one of those characters in this film. When he walks into the bar, and he gives that big speech about manners and that, and locks it, and then just wrecks these guys. And you're just sitting there and you're like, okay, well, they mean business. The Kingsman's not here to fuck around. They mean business. And I thought that scene was good. Taron is funny in this. And I tell you what, when they got to that dog scene and he has the chance to shoot the dog, and I'm just like, and then he doesn't do it. I'm like, dude, I would have done the exact same as well. Like, you can't do that to the dog. And then the whole Samuel L. Jackson, like, come on. The guy's a villain. Samuel L. Jackson is good in anything, and he brings it. And he is so, so good. So good. And I absolutely love him as the villain. But when you get to the end of the film, with the whole big epic end, was just so good. So good. And even with the princess, that whole thing was just, I'll let you fuck me in the ass. Like, that was just to top it off, funny as, and yeah, it's a good action film. I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. And so coming in at number 5 is The Kingsman. Now, coming in at number 4 is an action film, but it's also a character study. And I just love this film so much. And it's directed by Ted Kotcheff, I think his name is, and it stars Stallone. And it's Rambo: First Blood. This, to me, is just probably my favorite Stallone movie. It's between this and Rocky 3, really. It's between this and Rocky 3. I mean, this is just phenomenal. They capture what Stallone and that do. They capture this character who's just come back from war, who's lost all his friends in the war and everyone else, and he's trying to fit into the world. And he doesn't know. The world's changed since he's left. He's trying to deal with the dramatic stress that he's just had overseas, what he's seen, what he's done, and he's trying to live with that. And you see how just one person who's just an absolute asshole, who just doesn't care and goes in on this guy because he's a drifter, because he's not from the town, and just pushes him to the limit, and he just snaps. He snaps, and then he thinks he's back in the war, and you just see this whole breakdown of this particular character, and it is so good. It is compelling. The action, like the way Stallone, the way Rambo creates traps and does the killing. Well, he doesn't kill all of them, but the way he does that is just so good. And the action is great. The way he tries to survive is good. And I just love how they broke at the end when he broke down in front of the colonel. And he's just saying that everyone's gone. And he's crying. And he's just like, he doesn't know what's going on. And you just see it. And you're just like, he's a broken man that's done horrible things that he has to live with, and he's seen terrible things, and he's seen his friends perish next to him. That is a hard thing to comprehend, and he's just mentally broken, and you see that character go through that transition to try and establish a life, and gets broken down, and that's why I love this film, and I think it's one of Stallone's best films, and it's Rambo: First Blood, that comes in at number 4 for me. So, coming in at number 3 is a new one. And it's starring, what's his name? Keanu Reeves and it's John Wick 3. I think it's the best John Wick. And John Wick 3, this to me is a pure action film. Pure. Some of the kills are just mind-blowing. The book scene. John Wick kills someone with a goddamn book. A flippin' book. He kills a 6-foot monster with a book. And I watched it and I was like, oh my, this guy, like, can anyone stop John Wick? I don't think anyone can stop John Wick. John Wick would just walk in. If he was in Endgame, he would walk in and he'd just tear. So, like, he would tear Thanos apart. Like, I can tell you that now. Like, John Wick was just, and like, you saw more of the backstory, more of the lore in this film. And you see the hand-to-hand combat. Unreal. Keanu Reeves does this all by himself. Like, he's self-taught himself to do all this. The gun, like we call it gun fu, because he's just, the way he does it, when he's on the horses and the motorbikes with the samurai swords, it's just like, they gave me everything I wanted in this film. In an action film, I got it in John Wick 3. And I absolutely love all the John Wicks, but this one to me is the best of the bunch. And I thoroughly enjoy it. And John Wick 3 comes in at number 3 for me. So coming in number 2 is an old one. It is, what's his name? Michael Bay directed this. I think this is Michael Bay's best film. I absolutely love this film. And it stars Ed Harris, Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery. And it is The Rock. Guys, if you have not seen The Rock, watch it. It is so good. Nicolas Cage is great in it. Sean Connery is just, he's just amazing in this film. And Ed Harris is fantastic as the villain. So what makes this so good is, what happens is you've got another character who gets all these other army people and puts them together as a group. Their job is to go in, steal these rockets with this gas sort of thing that can kill people really quickly. They steal those rockets and go to Alcatraz. So they are now demanding, they want millions of dollars because they haven't been treated right. The people who perished, their families haven't been paid a cent or treated right. And they are doing this to get the respect back for all the fallen people and to show, you need to support us when we come back. You need to give the families that lose their loved one. They lose more than most of us. You need to give them. And that's what it is. And it's just so good. And then Sean Connery, that line, when Nicolas Cage goes, I'll do my best. And Sean Connery goes, your best? Huh. Losers whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. I mean, come on. Sean Connery delivers that. And you're just like, you're cracking up laughing. You're like, fair point, mate. Fair point. And the action's great. There's the bathroom scene when they come out of the top is just absolutely epic. There is just so much going on. There's so much blood and gore. There's just bullets going everywhere. It is fantastic. Like, The Rock is so good. It is a fantastic story as well as great action in it. And I highly recommend, check out The Rock. And yeah, The Rock comes in at number 2 for me. So, before we get to number 1, we have got some live chats here. And it's Ronan saying, Kingsman is awesome. Totally agree with you. You prefer the second one, though? Fair enough. I mean, it's subjective. Everyone has their different opinions. I didn't mind the second one. I thought it was a bit weaker, but that's my opinion. If you love the second one better, no problem with that. So I'm just excited for the third one and the prequel that's going to come out. Demolition. Is that what Demolitions and Sean? You swore. Oh, yeah, I do. And then John Wick is an okay series. I didn't enjoy it too much. And see, that's the subjective of film. Like, everyone's going to have different opinions on films. And that's what makes it so good, is that you see something different than I see it. I love the John Wick franchise. If it didn't hit you the same way it did me, there's nothing wrong with that. Your opinion is no more valid than mine, and mine is no more valid than yours. So really, it is art, and we're going to see something different. If you didn't enjoy it as much, then that's okay. I mean, there's surely other things that you're going to like any more. demonetized. Ha! Mate, I don't even have enough to get anything, but I see what you did there. I see what you did. I see what you did. Anyway, let's get to number 1. So some people think this is going to be more a sci-fi one. For me, I think it's more, well, it is. It's a sci-fi action film. And I tell you what, I love this film so much. It's another oldie. James Cameron came in and did this one, starring Sigourney Weaver, Aliens. This, to me, is one of the greatest sequels ever made. Ever made. Period. Kid you not. To me, this is behind Empire Strikes Back as one of the best sequels ever made. There is so much action in this. You have aliens, abundance of aliens everywhere, millions of them. And you have Marines going in there and just wiping these things out. But the thing is, these aliens wipe the humans out. And you see some creative kills, some awesome things, and it's epic. It is an epic sci-fi action film. Oh, excuse me. Sigourney Weaver is fantastic in it. When she goes in and fights the alien queen, and she gets in that thing, and she's like, "Get away from her, you bitch." That is an iconic line. That has been around for decades now. Well, this was made in the 80s, I think it was. So it's been around for decades now, and it is still referenced right now. People still dress up as Sigourney Weaver in that thing, and it's just so good. The way that the Marines are, they are hilarious. There's great gunfights in here. The aliens are great. You're on the edge of your seat, and you just face huggers, everything. I mean, I absolutely adore Aliens. So Aliens comes at number 1. So let's go through and let's run through them one more time. Number 10, Broken Arrow. Number 9, The Mechanic. Number 8, Taken. Number 7, The Equalizer. Number 6, The Transporter. Number 5, Kingsman Secret Service. 4, Rambo First Blood. 3, John Wick 3. 2, The Rock. And then 1 is Aliens. So thank you for joining me in this live stream. It's been an absolute bore talking. I mean, I love talking movies. So don't forget to drop your top 10 action films in the comments. And thank you again for supporting me. I have absolutely had an absolute ball. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have yourselves a lovely day. Peace out.